All right, so we're on 8:15. This homework, you're going to have to make sure you know definitions of a triangle. All right, so last time you had to deal with size of different shapes, but today we're just figuring out what a triangle is called. And you can classify a triangle by how long the sides are, and then you can classify a triangle by the angles inside of the triangle. So on your homework, there's going to be 6 definitions, and then there's going to be basically 6 ways you can, like on the picture, there's going to be 6 options for you to choose. You have to say yes to 2 of them, and you can say no to 4 of them, because once you classify it as one of the 3, you say no to the other 2. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so let's get started here by definitions. Okay, so let's talk about, this is like the length of a triangle, okay, like the side length. Okay, so you have to say, is it scaling? If it's scaling, that means no sides are congruent. That means no sides are the same length. So you can see this is a little longer, this is a little shorter, and this gets shorter. So that would be a scaling triangle because all 3 sides are different. Okay, if you need time, please pause to write this down. All right, so then you could classify it as, say, maybe an isosceles triangle, which means it has 2 congruent sides. You can see that, and I drew these, so be kind to me. This length and this length are the same, but this one is a little longer. So an isosceles triangle actually has 2 sides that are the same. So here we have no sides that are the same. Here we have 2 sides that are the same. And then we have a third option for a triangle, which is called an equilateral triangle. Okay? So all 3 sides are congruent, which means all 3 sides of this triangle are the same. You can see right there, Mr. Drito Man, that all 3 sides are the same. So that's equilateral. So your first part of the homework is basically asking yourself, is it scalene, isosceles, or equilateral? Okay, and go back, pause it here, take notes, so that when you get to the homework, you have this. So you're going to say yes to one of these, and then say no to the other one. So if you say yes to equilateral, you have to say no to isosceles or scalene. Okay? So this is how you classify a triangle, by its length of its sides. Now we'll want to look at angles, because you'll say yes to one of these, and then you'll have to ask a second question to yourself, is it acute, obtuse, or a right triangle? So then you take a look and you say, well, is it a right triangle? Okay. A right triangle has a right angle in it. Okay, so if one of the angles here is 90 degrees, or you see this little box, you know it's a right triangle. So it has a right angle in it. Okay, you could pause it here to write that down. A right triangle has a right angle in it. There it is. Okay, then you'd also say, well, this could be isosceles, scalene, or equilateral. To me, this kind of looks like these 2 lengths are fairly similar. So I would maybe call this an isosceles triangle, because this one's definitely longer. But a right triangle can be any of the 3 up there. A right triangle could have all the same sides lengths, the same, 2 of them, or a right triangle. I don't know if it actually could be. It could be an equilateral and an isosceles. Yeah, I suppose it also could be. It could be a scalene too, because you could have really short, like a long, and then a short guy, and then another long guy. So you could have a right triangle being any of the top 3. Okay, and so then acute, I always think of this one being cute, a cute triangle. A cute triangle is cute because it's small. All angles are less than 90. So if you look at the 3 angles inside of here, they're all less than 90 degrees, okay? All smaller than this right. So if there's no right angle in the triangle, it could be an acute or obtuse. The acute is the small guy. You look at all 3 of these, they're tiny, so that's got to be an acute. And then let's look at the third classification that we can have, and you have a obtuse triangle down at the bottom there. An obtuse triangle has one angle that's larger than 90. So you can see right here, okay, these 2 are smaller than 90, and then this guy is going to be bigger than 90. Okay, so an obtuse has one angle bigger than 90 degrees. Okay, and so that's what you need to know for this lesson, is to be able to classify a triangle. The top 3 are classifying the length of the sides. The bottom 3 are classifying the angles. So like I said, you're going to have all 6 of these to define on your homework. I just gave you all the answers, okay, for the top of the homework. It's basically fill in the blank. Then what you need to do on the bottom part of the homework is you're going to get a triangle, and you have to ask yourself, is it one of these three? Whichever one it is, put yes. And then ask yourself, whichever one of these three, answer yes. And then all the other four become no's, because if it's isosceles, it cannot be scalene and equilateral. If it's a right triangle, it should not be acute or obtuse because it has that one. So here is your cheat sheet for homework lesson 815. Okay, if you don't watch the video, you might struggle a little more. So if you've watched the video, that's great. Okay, because you should get all the problems right on your homework on your own with this, because I gave you all the definition words right here, and all you got to do is think through it. There's no calculations. So, all right, you have one more math lesson for the 5th grade curriculum. So way to go, you've made it this far. You can make it farther. There you go.